In fact, he went so far, and this is just some crazy speculation, but the Indians, by the way, all over the Jon Lester conversation. There's a lot of smoke to that fire. I don't know if they're going to come up with a package to make the trade, because that's where the sticking point is what they want to give up. But the Indians are one of the destinations that he could end up going to. And hey, I will take that veteran pitcher all day long. And Mike Brandenberry was just kind of speculating. We were just playing kind of fantasy general manager. He goes, man, what if, Boston looking to the future and the present, Indians looking to the present and a little bit to the future, and both teams looking to shift around money, and Boston not being afraid to take on money. He saw perhaps a fit where Michael Bourn ends up being a part of a trade discussion. I said, man, I don't know. I said, that's like, it made so much sense. It was one of those that made so much sense the way he laid it out there that it can't happen, because it just makes too much sense for it to happen that way. But we were going through some very interesting stuff. I've got to tell you guys, Ramsey, to me, he signals the end of, I don't want to say the end, but in my gut, I don't know that Michael Bourn is on this roster at the start of next season. Whether it happens at the trade deadline or not, if not, I definitely can see a scenario in the offseason where the Indians look to move the remainder of Michael Bourne's contract somewhere else. And I'm telling you, first off, Ramsey's more big league ready than people think. Ramsey is right there. I mean, I think he'll get a September call-up, but I think he's in the discussion to be one of the Indians' outfielders next season, and perhaps a part of the young group moving forward. I mean, he's definitely a power-hitting, decent hitting prospect, plays some pretty good defense. I mean, the card on him is pretty good. So, but I think that, there's where there's smoke, there's fire there. Whether it happens now, whether it happens in the offseason, we've talked about how the Indians have to reappropriate some funds and move money around, not necessarily spend less money or more money, but they've got to take the money that they've spent and they have to move. They have to switch some of the priorities, obviously. And I'll tell you, another thing too, I don't even know if I should say this out loud, because this was, I think, my favorite part of talking to Mike last night was the back and forth. Why would they do that? Why would anybody do that? Talking about Nick Swisher, because honest to goodness, there's been 3 teams that I was told that have actually, honestly, corresponded with the Indians and used the name Nick Swisher. I'm just going to say, I'm just dropping that out there like that, because you're going to say the same thing that I just said. Why? No offense, but at this point, with what he's got left in his contract, what he's getting paid, and what he's hitting, why? Why anybody would make that trade, I don't know. It was the Dodgers, Angels were in that discussion, and there was a third team that is escaping me at the top of my head. But why, I don't know. But I will nominate the Indians front office for sainthood and Cooperstown if they are able to convince somebody to take Nick Swisher off their hands before 4:00 today. There's a test of the front office right there. But he's been in discussions. I've heard that at least a half a dozen teams have called about Roberto Perez, and there's some interest there. And of course, as Drupal Cabrera, at least a dozen teams have inquired with the Indians. It's gotten down to 3 or 4 serious teams that are in on him. I know the Giants, that's somebody that we talked about. The A's was somebody that Mike and I talked about yesterday too as being in there. But I think that the reality there is the die is cast as Drupal Cabrera ends up traded by 4:00 today. But don't preclude the Indians from doing something else. I'm not saying, hey, they're going to get Jon Lester, but I am telling you that they're in that. Lackey's interested in this end because the Indians are willing to extend him, and the Indians are interested because he's looking for an extension, so it fits the wanting a guy for a couple of seasons of control, and so keep your eyes on that. Who knows, but I got fired up because so many people attacked the Indians right away. At one point, I can't lie, my sarcastic side came out. I went on Facebook and said, listen, guys, I get it. Training camp started. Johnny Football's in town. Indian season's over. I get it. I'm not going to have this argument with you because, I mean, it was vicious, the response right away. So, typical Dolans, throwing cheap Dolans. They're just cashing in on the season. And I said, listen, now, okay, if you're trading, let's pretend Justin Masterson had another year on his contract. I'd agree with you at that point in time, because you're trading you're trading something you still have attachment to. Or let's say Justin Masterson was 11-3 so far this season, but he was going to walk at the end of the season. But let's just say Justin Masterson's 11-3 with a 3.2 ERA. Now you can say the Indians are fire selling because they're shipping him up. That's a piece that could have helped you down the stretch, is what I'm saying. This what they did is negligible to whether the Indians contend for the wild card or not. Trading Justin Masterson will have 0.0% negative effect on the Indians' wild card chase, and it may even have a positive effect. No offense to Justin Masterson, but he hasn't gotten it right this season. So now the Indians don't have to deal with trying to put him back in the rotation and hoping that he can bounce back and stressing the bullpen even more than it's already been done. And none of this is being said to disrespect Justin Masterson. I love the guy. And to be honest with you, if they could work out the right deal, I wouldn't have a problem with Justin Masterson coming back. I have a problem with Justin Masterson making $17 million a year. I don't have a problem with Justin Masterson per se. But for you to say, I went so far yesterday, I was talking on another radio host page, and I felt bad because by the end of the conversation, all the comments were like, man, Jerry's point on with this thing. And I say, hey, I wasn't trying to hijack your thread or make you look bad or anything, but I got mad at his reaction and other people's reaction that the fire sale has begun. I will go so far as to say you could trade Asdrubal, Axford, and Justin Masterson and still be better off than you were before, because you don't lose anything now, is what I'm saying. And those are all three assets that have no attachment to you about 61 days from now, because that's when they'll become free agents and they'll be off to do their own thing. So bring in what you can. And I've got to tell you, you ask around to people that know baseball, and they'll tell you they're surprised that the Indians got what they got for Justin Masterson. I don't know how great he's going to be. I don't know how great Ramsey's going to end up being, but he's got good upside. And the fact that the Indians were able to get a decent prospect like that without they didn't have to eat any of Masterson's remaining $4 million. They didn't have to. I thought we talked about that with Mike yesterday, how they may have to eat some salary to get a better prospect back. I don't have a problem at all with the trade that they made. I really do believe that was great. James Ramsey, as we said, he was a first-round pick. Let me give you some of the info for those of you that just heard traded for minor league outfielder, because that was everybody's favorite line. Oh, they traded him for a double-A outfielder. He's not even a triple-A outfielder. First off, all you need to know is he's in the St. Louis organization. That's not a guaranteed pedigree of success, but guess what? It's that if I'm going to pick one team in baseball where you said you can trade for their prospects, they would be one of my top three teams, because their farm system knows what they're doing. They're known for being deep and for having a lot of good prospects. Ramsey, and we talked about this yesterday, he was a first-round draft pick taken 23rd overall just 2 years ago in the 2012 draft. Cardinals took him. Right now, he's missed 3 weeks of the season with a shoulder injury, and he's still 6th in the Texas League where he's playing this season in home runs. He started at all three outfield positions, including the majority, 36 of them in center field. He's the 6th best ranked prospect in the Cardinals organization, according to Major League Baseball. And he was also a starter in the Futures game, the same game that Francisco Lindor was in just a few weeks ago at the All-Star break. So to me, to get that for a guy who not only was walking, but wasn't giving you anything this year. Listen, even if Justin Masterson could have given you 5 more wins this year, we could have a different conversation. But the fact that you were most likely getting zero contribution from him the rest of the way, this is not a fire sale, and this is not throwing up the white flag. Like I said, if anything to me, that makes me feel like the Indians think maybe the season isn't just completely lost, because they may have just said, well, let's just keep Justin Masterson and see what happens. To me, forcing him to keep going out there and looking at Francona and going, give it another shot. What did we just say the other day about saying, Masterson's as good as a trade? I disagreed with that then, and I still do. When you tell a guy, go pitch tonight against minor league pitchers and pitch it like it's the first game of the World Series, and he goes out there and has the bomb of a game, and I don't mean bomb in the good way, has the bomb of a game that he had, That's all you need to know, that you weren't getting it from him this year. So you didn't give up anything. So chill out, guys. The season is far. And if you're one of those people, then you probably weren't into it anyway. You probably already gave up a month ago, and you're just complaining because it's the cool kind of kitschy thing to do on social media. So anyways, I'm going to stop there for a second because I got to talk about Corey Kluber Lang, this A's trade. But before I do, I want to give it to you. Let's go to the phone lines. Caller number 1, you are kicking things off on the Sports Fix.
Big J-Rock.
My man, Big Bob. I got to give it to you before you even start.
Performance by our young ace last night at home in front of some fired up Cleveland Indian fans. Loved it.
Oh, Corey Kluber. Yeah, we haven't even started, but I want to give you. Hold on, Bob.
Pitching duel last night. It was great, and to be on the winning end of the stick.
My man, I'm trying to give you kudos because you.
Oh my God! What a pitching performance by that young man. From Alabama, baby.
Absolutely. Stop. Hang on a second. Let me jump in here before we talk about Corey Kluber. I want to give you kudos because you called Justin Masterson being moved several times in the early part of the season, and for that, it ended up working out.
And Chris told me that unfortunately Justin would have been gone by the end of June. It happened now. Me, myself, and I, being a longtime Cleveland Indian and Browns fan, this is something that had to be done. Great young Indian in the clubhouse. Great young Indian pitcher, got along with everybody, all the starters, everything. Time for Justin to move on. His lifetime statistics, whether in Boston or Cleveland, do not warrant a $17 million contract from our Cleveland Indian organization, St. Louis, Yankees, San Francisco, wherever he ends up. But I do wish him the best. As far as I'm concerned, I'm with you. We got the best end of the stick on this. Ramsey and another young Indian could be 2/3 of our outfield next year in the 2015 season.
I'm going to go so far as to say that.
You know that, right?
I said that kind of at the beginning of the show. I think that this could be, number one, this could be protection if you want to go that direction in right field. But I think Mike and I were talking last night, and I mean, he made so many good points. I think this is the precursor to perhaps the shuffling of Michael Bourne in the offseason to another team, because I think you're right. I think they open up that outfield, man. But He is able to play all three spots, but he's primarily in center field. So I think even if it's not next year, that is, I think, part of your outfield of the future. He's at least going to get the opportunity. Maybe, who knows? We see some guys come up and hit and some guys don't. So who knows what he's going to do. But I think he's way closer than people think. He is not a traditional, when you say Double A, you would think, oh man, that guy's a couple of years away. Francisco Lindor was
Florida State, of course.
Lindor was Double A 2 months ago.
I'm telling you.
Yeah, Lindor was Double A 2 months ago. Hey, hold on, Bob. He'll be up by September 1st. He'll be a September call-up this year. Mark my words. You'll see Ramsey
September call-up this year, yes, but I'm talking about next year.
Yeah, and he'll be on. I think so. He'll be in Absolutely. He'll be in the deal. And again, and I see Bruce in the chat room, all following up. For the people that said, Indians rolled up the white flag, I don't agree. Now, that could happen today.
Are you kidding me, Cleveland Indian fans? Come on. We're going to win the Central.
But I can understand that. Now, I will say
we're going to win the Central.
Hey, you don't got to yell at me,
And then you got the Kansas City Royals looking at A.J. Burnett. I hope the hell they sign him.
Hey, we don't got to yell here, man. We don't got to yell. Calm down, man.
You got me fired up. I'm fired up. I'm a Cleveland Indian fan. Come on,
I know it,
Bob.
I know it. I know you
I
are,
put
man.
Chris Russo to shame. Come on. You're talking about my love. Indian.
But I'm with you, because that is
J-Rock. Please don't stymie me. Don't stymie me.
That's how mad I got yesterday too. But I'll tell you. Now I will say this. I will give you this. I will give you fans this. If the Indians, let's say, and I don't mean because these are star players, but what I mean is these are people that they've got committed into this season, if you see them dump off a bunch of contracts, like if they trade David Murphy today, if they traded a bunch of guys like that, like where guys that may not be hitting 300, but you know they're going to contribute for